Have you ever stopped to think about the hidden stories of remarkable women who quietly yet powerfully shaped Tibetan history? Imagine stepping back in time to a land of snow-capped mountains and vibrant monasteries, where queens, mystics, and scholars challenged conventions and left a profound mark on the spiritual and cultural heart of Tibet. Today we'll journey into a world often overlooked, a world where women were not just figures in the background, but architects of change. These extraordinary women didn't just participate in Tibetan Buddhism, they transformed it. From queens who negotiated peace and fostered cultural exchanges, to yoginis who defied societal norms to achieve enlightenment, their stories are as inspiring as they are empowering. Take, for example, the legendary Yeshe Tsogyal, known as the mother of Tibetan Buddhism. She overcame trials of unimaginable difficulty to become a spiritual master, authoring teachings that continue to guide practitioners today. Or think of the queens who nurtured art, philosophy, and spirituality at the courts of Tibet, laying the foundation for the flourishing of Buddhism as we know it. These women were not only spiritual leaders, they were scholars, healers, and visionaries who dared to dream of a world beyond the constraints of their time. Their influence shaped the course of Tibetan history, leaving a legacy that echoes through the centuries and into our lives today. As we uncover their untold stories, we honor their resilience and wisdom, reminding ourselves that history is never just a record of kings and battles. It's also the story of women who led with courage and grace, proving that the power to shape the world lies within all of us. So, join me as we explore this fascinating chapter of Tibetan history, shining a light on the extraordinary lives of women who dared to lead, to love, and to enlighten. Together, let's celebrate their lasting contributions to Buddhism, culture, and humanity itself. Tibet's history is as grand and awe-inspiring as its towering mountains, stretching across the centuries like a tapestry of spiritual depth and cultural richness. Yet amidst these sweeping narratives, the voices of women often fade into the background, their stories left untold or overshadowed by the accounts of kings, monks, and warriors. But today, we're changing that. Tibetan society, deeply rooted in Buddhist teachings, was shaped by profound spiritual values. However, its relationship with gender roles has always been complex. Buddhism, with its teachings of equality and enlightenment for all beings, offered possibilities for transcendence. Yet cultural norms and societal expectations often imposed limitations, creating a tension that remarkable women had to navigate. Today, we're uncovering the lives of these extraordinary women, queens who guided nations with wisdom and strength, mystics who attained enlightenment despite unimaginable obstacles, and scholars who dared to challenge conventions to preserve and spread sacred teachings. Their stories are not just inspiring. They are reminders of the resilience of the human spirit and the power of faith. Consider the life of Mandarava, one of Padmasambhava's principal disciples. Born a princess, she renounced her royal life to pursue the Dharma, overcoming societal and familial pressures. Her dedication and spiritual accomplishments made her a revered figure in Tibetan Buddhism, symbolizing the transformative power of inner strength and wisdom. Or think about the powerful queens of Tibet, like Trima, who influenced major decisions in the royal court and played a pivotal role in the propagation of Buddhism, ensuring its survival through turbulent times. These women were more than just figures of their era. They were architects of change, weaving their vision into the cultural and spiritual fabric of Tibet. Their legacies are not just historical footnotes. They resonate deeply even today, inspiring us to look beyond societal barriers and embrace the boundless potential within each of us. By understanding their lives, we not only uncover hidden chapters of Tibetan history, but also learn lessons of courage, determination, and compassion. So, let us step into this often overlooked chapter of Tibetan history, celebrating the women, whose courage and wisdom shaped not just their world but the path of Buddhism itself. Their stories remind us that greatness often flourishes in the most unexpected places, even against the odds. Did you know that queens in ancient Tibet were far more than ceremonial figures? They were the architects of alliances, shapers of policy, and even catalysts of spiritual transformation. Their influence reached beyond the walls of their palaces, leaving an indelible mark on Tibetan history and culture. One such remarkable figure is Queen Wencheng, a Chinese princess who married Songtsen Gampo, the king who united Tibet in the 7th century. But Queen Wencheng wasn't just a diplomatic bride. She was a visionary whose arrival in Tibet heralded one of the most profound cultural and spiritual shifts in the nation's history. Queen Wencheng brought with her not only a rich heritage from the Tang dynasty, but also the seeds of Buddhism. She played a pivotal role in introducing Buddhist teachings, texts, and art to Tibet, helping to lay the foundation for the spiritual tradition that would become the heartbeat of Tibetan society for centuries. Imagine the courage it took to navigate the complexities of a new land, a new culture, and the monumental responsibility of fostering harmony and spiritual growth. But her contributions didn't stop at spiritual practices. Through her diplomacy, she forged a lasting peace between Tibet and China, ensuring stability and prosperity. Her influence extended to the construction of the Yokang Temple, one of Tibet's most sacred sites, which remains a testament to her vision and devotion. Queen Wencheng's life is a lesson in leadership, resilience, and the transformative power of faith. She showed that true influence comes not from wielding power but from using it to build bridges, nurture growth, and inspire generations. Her legacy is a powerful reminder that women have always been at the forefront of shaping history, even when their stories are not often told. As we delve into her life and the lives of other extraordinary Tibetan queens, we uncover a deeper truth about Tibetan history. It's a story not just of kings and warriors, but also of women who dared to dream, to lead, and to transform their world. So what lessons can we draw from Queen Wencheng's vision? How can her ability to navigate cultural divides and her unwavering commitment to spiritual growth inspire us in our own lives? Join me as we explore these fascinating questions and honor the incredible legacy of women in Tibetan history. Have you ever heard of Yeshe Tsogyal, the extraordinary female yogi who is often called the mother of Tibetan Buddhism? Her life is more than a story. It's a testament to the strength of the human spirit and the transformative power of faith. Yet her contributions are often overshadowed by the male figures in Tibetan history. Today we're shining a light on her remarkable journey and asking, why is her legacy not celebrated as it should be? Yeshe Tsogyal wasn't born into privilege or power. Her path was marked by immense challenges, from societal expectations to personal sacrifices. But it was precisely through these trials that she found her strength. A disciple of Guru Padmasambhava, she not only mastered Buddhist teachings but also became an enlightened being in her own right, embodying wisdom, compassion, and unshakable resilience. Her journey wasn't easy. Yeshe Tsogyal endured hardships that would have broken most, including being forced into marriage and later renouncing her worldly life to fully dedicate herself to spiritual practice. These trials, rather than hindering her, forged her into a beacon of hope for countless others. She became a teacher, a healer, and a guide, inspiring generations to pursue enlightenment. What makes her story so profound is her role as a preserver of sacred teachings. She recorded and safeguarded Padmasambhava's instructions, ensuring that future generations could access the profound wisdom of Tibetan Buddhism. Her work is considered foundational to the spiritual tradition that has shaped Tibet's identity for centuries. Yet despite her unparalleled contributions, Yeshe Tsogyal's legacy often remains in the shadows, her achievements eclipsed by her male contemporaries. This raises an important question. Why do we so often overlook the stories of women who shaped history, even when their impact is undeniable? Her life challenges us to reconsider the narratives we celebrate and the voices we amplify. It reminds us that the path to enlightenment is not reserved for the few, but open to all, regardless of gender, background, or circumstance. Yeshe Tsogyal's story is a call to action to honor the contributions of women in Tibetan history and beyond. So what can we learn from Yeshe Tsogyal's resilience and devotion? How can her teachings inspire us to overcome challenges and pursue our own paths with courage and grace? Join me as we delve deeper into her extraordinary life and celebrate her as a true trailblazer of Tibetan history. When we think about the history of Tibet, We often focus on its great queens, mystics, and scholars. But what about the everyday women who shaped their communities and kept the heart of Tibetan society alive? Their contributions, though often overlooked, are no less significant. These women played pivotal roles in sustaining their families, nurturing their communities, and preserving their culture through times of change and challenge. Everyday Tibetan women lived lives intertwined with spirituality, resilience, and creativity. They were the silent architects of their world, balancing the demands of daily life with deep-rooted spiritual practices. In households, they cultivated compassion and wisdom, passing on traditions and values to the next generation. Their work went far beyond the visible, preparing meals, weaving intricate textiles, and maintaining homes. These were acts of devotion that sustained not just families but entire communities. Many women also served as healers, drawing on centuries-old Tibetan medicine to care for their loved ones and neighbors. They used their knowledge of herbs and spiritual remedies to heal both body and spirit, embodying the Buddhist principles of kindness and interconnectedness. Others were artisans, weaving vibrant thankas or crafting prayer flags that adorned monasteries and villages. Each piece they created was a reflection of their dedication and a contribution to the rich tapestry of Tibetan culture. Consider, for example, the women who would rise before dawn to offer butter lamps at local temples, their prayers whispered in the quiet of the morning. Or the mothers who taught their children to recite mantras, weaving faith into the fabric of daily life. These seemingly ordinary acts were profound expressions of devotion, ensuring that spiritual traditions thrived even in the face of adversity. Yet, their stories rarely appear in history books. They are hidden in the folds of everyday life, in the quiet persistence of countless women who kept their communities alive through wars, invasions, and upheavals. Their resilience and ingenuity remind us that history is not just about monumental figures and events. It's also about the countless, unnamed women whose strength and creativity built the foundations of Tibetan society. So why do we so often overlook these lives? Why do we focus only on rulers and mystics, when the strength of a nation is rooted in the lives of its people? As we explore Tibetan history, let's take a moment to honor the everyday women whose legacies live on in the traditions, art, and faith they nurtured. Their stories inspire us to see beauty and purpose in the ordinary, to recognize that even the smallest acts of kindness and creativity can leave a lasting impact. Together, let's uncover the untold histories of these remarkable women and celebrate their invaluable contributions to Tibetan history. Fast forward to today, and the lives of Tibetan women have transformed in remarkable ways. Modernization, political struggles, and globalization have brought both challenges and opportunities, reshaping their roles within society. Yet, through it all, Tibetan women continue to rise, embodying the resilience and wisdom that have long been hallmarks of their culture. The Tibetan diaspora and changes within Tibet itself have placed new demands on women. For centuries, Tibetan women carried forward traditions and values in their homes and communities. Now they are stepping into new roles as educators, activists, and leaders, advocating for the preservation of their culture while fighting for equality and justice in a rapidly changing world. Education has become a powerful tool for Tibetan women. In the past, access to formal education was limited for many, but today more women are pursuing higher learning, mastering languages, sciences, and Buddhist philosophy. Schools and monasteries now serve as spaces where young Tibetan girls can cultivate both academic knowledge and spiritual wisdom, ensuring that their culture thrives in modern contexts. In the face of political struggles, Tibetan women have emerged as voices of strength and advocacy. Figures like Jetsun Pema, the sister of the Dalai Lama, have dedicated their lives to education and the welfare of Tibetan children, ensuring that their heritage endures. Others have taken to international stages, sharing their stories and shining a light on the challenges Tibet faces. Despite globalization and the pressures of modern life, Tibetan women remain deeply connected to their spiritual roots. They continue to offer prayers, spin prayer wheels, and chant mantras, infusing their daily lives with the teachings of Buddhism. These acts of devotion are more than rituals. They are a lifeline to their identity and a testament to their unwavering spirit. The stories of modern Tibetan women remind us that history is a living, evolving narrative. Their journey is not just about adapting to change, but also about staying true to the essence of Tibetan culture. It's a delicate balance, one that requires both courage and creativity. As we celebrate their progress, we must also recognize the challenges they face: cultural erosion, displacement, and inequality. Yet their determination to overcome these obstacles and advocate for their communities speaks to the enduring power of Tibetan women throughout history. So, what can we learn from their journey? How do their lives reflect the spirit of Tibetan history and the teachings of Buddhism? By understanding their struggles and triumphs, we can honor their contributions and support their efforts to create a brighter future. Tibetan women today are more than inheritors of a rich legacy. They are its protectors and pioneers. Their stories inspire us to stand resilient in the face of challenges and to work tirelessly for what we believe in. Join me as we explore the extraordinary lives of modern Tibetan women and discover how their journey connects us to the heart of Tibetan history and culture. Let me take a moment to share my thoughts. What strikes me most when exploring the lives of Tibetan women is their unwavering strength and ability to defy societal norms, to lead in profound and transformative ways. Their stories are more than inspiring, they are revolutionary. They challenge us to reconsider not only the history we study, but the way we choose to remember it. In Tibetan history, women often navigated a world that sought to limit them. Yet time and again they emerged as leaders, visionaries, and spiritual guides. From the powerful queens who forged alliances and nurtured the growth of Buddhism, to the mystics who transcended societal expectations to achieve enlightenment, their courage shines as a beacon for all of us. What stands out is not just their achievements, but the resilience they showed in the face of overwhelming odds. Think of Yeshe Tsogyal, who overcame trials that would have broken most people to become a master of spiritual teachings and a preserver of sacred texts, or Queen Wencheng, whose vision and diplomacy bridged cultures and shaped the spiritual future of Tibet. These women didn't just survive their circumstances, they transformed them into legacies that continue to inspire us today. Even the everyday women, the unsung heroines of Tibetan society, played vital roles. They were the weavers of culture, the healers of communities, and the torchbearers of faith. Through their quiet but profound contributions, they ensured that Tibetan traditions endured even through the most turbulent times. As I reflect on their lives, one thought resonates deeply. History is not just about what happened. It's about how we choose to remember and honor it. Too often the stories of women are sidelined or forgotten, overshadowed by the narratives of kings and warriors. But by uncovering these hidden stories, we give them the recognition they deserve and allow their wisdom to guide us. Their stories remind us of the enduring power of compassion, courage, and vision, values deeply rooted in Tibetan Buddhism. They teach us that leadership isn't confined to thrones or temples. It's found in every act of resilience, in every choice to uplift others, and in every moment of devotion to a greater purpose. As we remember these remarkable women, let us also ask ourselves, how can we honor their legacy in our own lives? How can we ensure their stories continue to inspire future generations? Their journey is not just a chapter of Tibetan history. It's a call to action for all of us to stand with strength, lead with compassion, and strive for transformation. So, as we delve deeper into Tibetan history, let's celebrate the women who defied limits and shaped the course of their world. Their lives remind us that history isn't just written in books. It's etched into the hearts of those who dare to dream, to lead, and to inspire. By sharing these incredible stories, we're doing something far more profound than simply celebrating the past. We're carrying forward the legacy of these remarkable women, breathing life into their experiences, and allowing their voices to echo into the future. Each of their stories is a powerful reminder of our own potential to inspire change, no matter how daunting the odds may seem. The lives of Tibetan women, queens, mystics, scholars, healers, and everyday figures teach us that true strength lies in resilience and purpose. They remind us that history isn't just a record of events. It's a reflection of the values we choose to uphold and the stories we decide to tell. Consider the courage of Yeshe Tsogyal, whose unwavering devotion and spiritual mastery transformed Tibetan Buddhism forever. Or the foresight of Queen Wencheng, whose vision of peace and cultural exchange reshaped an entire kingdom. And let's not forget the countless unnamed women, whose daily acts of compassion, creativity, and strength sustained their families and communities through extraordinary times. These stories challenge us to look inward. What legacy are we building? How can we harness our own potential to create positive change? The lives of these women remind us that the power to inspire is within each of us, no matter where we come from or what challenges we face. But the journey doesn't end here. This is a conversation, not a conclusion. Each of you brings your own perspective, your own story, and your own insights. So I want to hear from you. Which story resonated with you the most? Was it the courage of a mystic, the vision of a queen, or the quiet strength of everyday life? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's keep this dialogue alive because in doing so, we're not just remembering history, we're honoring it. We're ensuring these powerful legacies are not forgotten, and we're drawing strength from them to inspire our own lives and the lives of those around us. Together, we can celebrate the enduring spirit of Tibetan history and the remarkable women who shaped it. Their stories remind us that the past is not just something to study, it's a wellspring of inspiration, offering us guidance and hope for the future. So let's keep these stories alive, and in doing so, shape a brighter, more compassionate world.